episode of Stub Me Down. My name is JW, and of course, as always, I'm here with my best friend Skinny, who is living his best tech life as he tries to get through the editing of our most recent episode. And the only reason that I bring that up today, because if you're not familiar with Stub Me Down, technical difficulties started from pretty much day one, I would say, and have continued up through and including our most recent recording. Skinny, how you doing? Say hello to the people, my friend.
Good, man. I'm just a fucking human being over here, ensconced in all of the megabytes and gigabytes and terabytes. I don't even know what that shit means. We used to have a friend that knew what that shit means.
Well, you know, it's one of those things, too, like the more you know, the less you know.
Yeah.
And I look at the two of us and how we've come in our self-taught skills. You know, we figured out how to record ourselves and edit it and add music and do all this shit. And the more we do it, I feel like
the worse we get.
the further away from mastery we are. But as my wife likes to point out, 10,000 hours to mastery. And this is what, episode 54 or something like that. So,
but that's more.
We got a ways to go.
Yeah, I mean, in athletics, it's like do that 10,000 times, and then you'll be good.
Yeah, and then you'll be good.
Everybody's
or not. I mean, I've probably swung a golf club 10,000 times, and I ain't good at that. So
yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I'm not very good either.
But nonetheless, we make it work, and we'll get that episode out very soon. We'll get to that in just a second. But Skinny, the Phish Mexico run is getting ready to start later this week. And I tell you, I was feeling all right. I saw a sound check video and some people on the beach and, arrival photos. And I was battling a little bit of FOMO. I'm not going to lie.
Stay off Twitter.
Yeah, seriously. But no, it's good. I'm happy that people get to go, and it's an amazing event, and good on the people that are able to go, and hopefully we'll be able to get back there. But I also know that in just a few months we've got Mondegreen, we've got Sphere, so there's some things that I'm going to be at, so I you can't see them all, as we like to say. But before we get into the last episode, I wanted to just quickly ask you, Skinny, because I don't know if we talked about this last time. Mondegreen has been announced, the Phish Festival that'll be taking place over 4 nights this August at the site where Firefly happens in Delaware, beautiful Delaware. Should be lovely. But I wanted to ask you, Skinny, what is your favorite Phish lyrical Mondegreen?
I don't have one. That is.
You don't have one?
No, man. I mean, I just if I don't know the words, I don't sing real loud, so I don't have. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more of the. What is this? Oh, I forgot. I saw this. I don't have lyrically. No, like grab a ham sandwich, or like it sounds like that. I had to look up what it meant anyway. I don't. Whatever.
You had to look up what Mondegreen meant?
Yeah. Go ahead, Phish.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was.
I know. It's just like.
But I mean, once I read, I was like, oh, and the first one that came to my mind was Halley's Comet. Cadillac rainbows and lots of spaghetti, and I always thought it was like kind of like rainbows.
Oh, I know what it is now, obviously, but like, no, I don't really, Josh. I don't. We talked about game heads. I don't. That's good. Good. Okay. That's what it's called. It's like
that's that thing with the songs.
Yeah,
that are a part of it. That's about the extent of it, right?
I just need to know where my hotel room is and where the bus is picking us up to take us to the site.
Right.
That was a really random question for me, by the way.
Well, I figured, maybe you would have had some discussions at some point of, Mondegreens or whatever that maybe you had heard, especially being an English teacher.
Right. Well, that doesn't mean you know everything. That's
I guess I thought
kids.
Wrong.
That's what I tell them. I don't know everything. So, but Anyway,
well, think of one, and maybe the next time we record, you can drop them on the green on me. Skinny, on the last episode of Stub Me Down, my buddy Hal Hansen from the Loyola U class of 1999. Well, back in the day it was Loyola College. Now it's Loyola University. Class of 99. Hal is a longtime music fan. He works for the Somerset Patriots, which is the Yankees AA affiliate in New Jersey.
Which was super cool to hear about all that stuff.
Yeah, he's doing some cool things on this upcoming season, and I'm hoping some of those caps will be pretty cool looking once they come out. But it was cool to talk to Hal. We had been trying to hook up with him for a while. He came on and stubbed us down, Skinny, on a Phish show from June 23rd, 1995, going way back to Phish's appearance at the Waterloo Village in Stanhope, New Jersey, which is a small venue. Phish played there twice in their career. But this show was significant in Hal's musical development. He had just graduated high school. This was before we all went off and met each other at Loyola.
Right.
And I think his excitement about this show really came through, and kind of where it fit in his Phish fandom, kind of in that early stage. And John Popper comes out and does a good jam session with the boys, and there's also a harpua, including a reference to the rhombus. And in 1995, the rhombus was, I think, still considered a little bit of like a mythical, I mean, it is still mythical now, but maybe a place that was not real or didn't actually exist. Well, it does in fact exist, so it was cool to hear that story as the band was in New Jersey, not necessarily close to the rhombus, but in
proximity.
Yeah, for sure. So, and I thought one of the other cool parts of that conversation, Skinny, was the fact that the Grateful Dead were also touring at the same time, and that was an off night as they were going from what I think it was New York down to maybe down around here, down Cap Center, Virginia, or something like that. RFK.
No, they were going down to RFK.
Was it RFK?
Summer tour, yep.
And so it was an off night, and there was an influx of Grateful Dead fans at this Phish show, and the venue wasn't really prepared to handle it. So I thought that was an interesting intersection, I think, of the two fan bases before they kind of merged into one after the passing of Jerry. So it was great to talk to Hal, and a fun show to talk about, too. Some great jams here. Great yam at the end of the first set, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I keep listening to that show. It's awesome. You know, Hal's a good dude. It reminds me of not only our friendship, but the friendship that we've had with many people over the course of what is it? Almost 25 years now. So
yeah, and it's always good. I run into Hal pretty much every time we're up in New York, and it's always a lot of fun to talk music with him. He's a big fan and knows his shit. So got some good stats, and that was right in my wheelhouse too.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Skinny, today is episode 5 of season 5, and we've got another really cool guest that we're going to be bringing in today. So I'm really excited to talk about this one.
Yeah, me too, man. It's going to be amazing. I think we've been working on this one for a while. I feel like we're always working on something for a while. So...
Our guest today is known as the voice of reason at his current place of employment. He's got a pretty sick T-shirt selection of bands that you and I listen to a lot. And he's a carpenter. He's the co-star of Maine Cabin Masters. So, Skinny, it gives us great pleasure to welcome in Ryan Eldridge to Stub Me Down. Ryan, thanks, man. This is so cool of you to be with us today.
It's an honor to be here, guys. Thanks for reaching out to me. As you know, we're all about the music, so
yeah,
honor to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that from the show. My wife and I are We fanboy over that show. I mean, you and your wife, and I guess that's your brother-in-law, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think a couple weeks ago, we just binge watched it. We just have it on, and then like something like Beachfront Properties will come on, and I just turn it off. We really love what you do, and I think a lot of it for me, Josh and I are both teachers, is this service, this kind of giving back, and some of the things that you do on the show, we'll get to that later, really remind me of that, like this community feel. And up in Maine, you know, we're from Maryland. Well, Josh is from Jersey. I'm from Maryland. So we're not that familiar with like camps and how that all works and what the process is and how you got started. So, you know, we're just going to dive in, I guess, huh, J-Dub?
Yeah. I mean, how the hell? First of all, before we get to the show, can you talk a little bit about your music background, your music history? Like, what pulled you in? Yeah. What's the hook for you? Were you like an old Deadhead back in the day, or like, give us a little bit of a rundown on your fandom?
Yeah, so I come from divorced parents. I think they divorced when I was like 4 or 5, and it was a lesson in that there's someone really out there you're meant to be with. So all 4 of my parents, they've been together since I was like 5 or 6. And, you know, it took a while, but now we all go to holidays together. We all spend time, you know, and it's pretty cool. They've been in my life. I didn't know anything different, really. But my stepfather, 10 years younger than my mom, you know, started dating my mom back in the late 70s, and he was a huge Deadhead. And so I grew up in a Grateful Dead household. You know, I thought Sugar E was a lullaby.
Nice.
I always had like cool shirts from him, and then my dad loved Clapton and got me on Traffic and the Stones. So my parents all had good taste in music, but the Grateful Dead has always just resonated through me, and I feel like it made me a lot of who I am growing up in that environment. I didn't get on the. I saw shows. I remember dropping my stepfather off at Oxford in Augusta, but I didn't go to my first shows were in the 90s, so I only saw 10 shows. I saw some Boston Garden, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I saw some that, but to me, music is the experience too, going with your friends and being in the lot and planning for it. It's just a whole thing. I got, you know, and I was going to UMaine Orono. My buddy's like, "Oh, listen to this band Phish," and I'm like, they suck. They're talking about sleeping lengthwise. I mean, I was a huge Dead. I mean, no, the Dead, they resonate. Talking about life and struggle, like. And I just like, Phish is dumb, you know? Right. And I fought it for a long time. You ask them. And over maybe the first semester, second semester, I went to Bangor, Portland, Maine, like 92, 93. And I saw like the scene, you know? And then I started to get the music and saw how good they were. And they really, I always say I wish I was born 10 years earlier so I could have gone to some more Dead shows. But Phish did that for me. And I loved it. The music was amazing. And the camaraderie and the traveling across the world, you know, the country. Yeah. And, you know, if I find myself listening to more the Dead, I go back and listen whole times, but Phish I experience in person more.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I got a chance to see him starting in high school. I think we're probably the same age, Ryan, that, you know, I was in high school and caught the bus when I was a junior, and then, you know, everybody had to get off in 95, which was, and then I didn't do anything, you know, like, I mean, I saw concerts and stuff, but I wasn't hooked on anything until Josh introduced me to Phish, and that was in 2000. And so
better late than never, right?
Yeah. That's what I say. Apparently now it's like better late than never, like always late. I don't know. Like these kids are like, you know, they're creating a lot of high drama in the Phish scene. And I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
We can.
Those blue tarps and all that stuff.
Yeah, the tarps. Yeah, well, we're not going to get into
old
that.
Jaded vets now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm 50 next year, so I'm 49. It just seems crazy.
Yeah, I'm 53. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, I stand in the back by the soundboard now. Well, I don't try to go.
Okay, before we go any further, I got to just tell you guys, I am known for going back. So I want to get a shirt that says I stub back. I used to love it down front. And I was thinking, I was like, I don't know if it was like 94 and my extracurriculars are kicking in. You know, when Chase hunts over his guitar, and you feel like he's looking at you. Might have been that just did it. But I love nothing more than being in the back of an outdoor venue and and I have my eyes closed a lot and just taking in the music and the energy back there. So I don't stub down a lot, but I love the music. And I had sat with some friends that like wait in line. I did that like out at the Bill Graham Center once or twice, but I'm OCD, ADHD, can't sit still, so I got to be in the back.
Yeah. I'm the same, dude. I want to be like especially like summer shed shows. Put me on the back of the lawn with some space to dance, and you know, we don't necessarily do the stubbing down anymore, people. It's a little passe, but we did plenty of it back in the day.
We were cool once.
And
that's right.
You know, but I think, you know, the older you get, you know, you start sliding back a little bit further in the crowd. You know what I mean? A little bit back towards the family section.
Pretty soon I'm going to be serving beer.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Ryan, you are one of the 3 stars of Maine Cabin Masters. Tell us a little bit about how that whole thing got going. I mean, you've got an unbelievable ability, your craftsmanship skills, and I'm new to the show, and I watched a whole bunch of episodes, and you know, first of all, like the sweeping views of Maine, like it's so gorgeous. Then you're working on everything from these tiny little, you know, like shacks in the woods that, you know, are infested with ants or whatever. And
you name it.
I'm sure some crazy shit to, you know, these gigantic, you know, lakefront homes. How did that all get started for you?
Yeah, well, you guys are going to like this. First of all, I have a degree in secondary English. I teach high school English.
Oh,
all right.
Hey, I teach English, man. Look at you.
I knew I loved you guys. I'm from UMaine Farmington. I went to UMaine Orono for engineering, and I just realized I had hated math. I took 5 years of math in high school, and that should have been the red flag to get into this program. But you want to do what your parents do. You're like what your dad did.
Right.
So anyways, you know, I got an English degree, but I was always bartending, going from the coast, going out west, skiing, and you know, when you're bartending and doing your thing, and even if you're a teacher, a lot of times you pound nails in the summer. But I just did that on the side. And, you know, I got to be like 35, you know, going to the coast, traveling out west, like, you know, life's good. I like skiing, but I decided to move home. And moving home, my wife and I were always good friends, and that kind of evolved. And her family's always been known for recycling, cross-cycling, upcycling, saving stuff, never throwing anything away. They had a little antique shop, her and her brother and dad, and they literally were doing picking, and they were doing barn board stuff before the social media. You know, so it's the potluck shop. So they've always been known for that. And then about 10 years ago, a production company was calling around, cold calling, asking for carpenters that like would save stuff and reduce and reuse, recycle. You know, just good old, you know, back to the words people that, you know, worked hard. And the original pilot was us and a team from Alaska, because Alaska's been hot forever. You know, Alaska was the reality TV, and they were trying to get Maine into it. So we did a pilot for the History Channel called Lost Cabin Hunters, where we went in the woods for 3 weeks with these people we just met. And the premise of that show was fighting our way into these old cabins and staying there. You know, so we went in 3 weeks, came out for 2, went back in, and it was great. And at that point, I think they paid us like $30 an hour the whole 24 hours a day, and we had a chef. I'm like, what? You know, we were all doing pretty well. Like we were okay.
Yeah.
But we were like, this is great. We didn't think anything of it. Well, they didn't pick us up. We're like, oh, whatever. They call us back like, listen, we like you guys and your camaraderie. Let's try something different. And that's when we tried the you know, the whole thing of just taking the family camp, saving it. You know, saving a camp that might not have been saved. You know, and you know, season 1 went from beg, steal, and borrowing. You know, beg, steal, borrow 10 camps, nickel or a dime. You know, and they let me wear the shirts. You know, I wore. At first, I started with like, I remember the shirt I wore. It just had a lightning bolt, and it was from the lot, and it was like a batik shirt.
Yeah.
And I tread it very lightly, you know, because you know, infringement, all that. I don't want Big Steve on me, you know, like. And Big Steve likes the show now too, which is awesome. So that's
good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But anyways, I just started wearing that, and they let it go, and then, you know, when you see a Deadhead reference, you know, they weren't a lot, but they let it go, and then I wore a couple more, and then I remember season 1 and 2 were just like bootleg shirts, and then when we did Fisherman's Cabin season 3, I started wearing the Phish logo, and he said, "Just go for it." And we've never really just commercial. It's a love of music.
Sure.
And I mean it's a flag, man. It's your colors, right?
And really, the first couple of years, we fought social media forever too. Like, we didn't get on Instagram for like 4 years. It probably cost us, some timing, but it was season to season. But I would get on these sites like, I don't know, Grateful Dead 2015 or whatever, and be like, "Hey man, we love music. We're trying," and that really helped us. Getting on there and and telling you like, "Well, we're Deadheads, just down to earth," and it gained steam. And like, I really think the T-shirts helped get us going to where we are now, because it was touch and go for a long time.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not
something recognizable. That's like the first thing. I was like, "What shirt's he wearing this time?"
Yeah, because that's what turned me. Like, my wife and I started watching it, but I have a story to tell you, so you got to try to back me up on this. Mm-hmm. So we got engaged on 12/30/18. Did you go to that run?
Yes, that was a great run.
Guess who you met at set break was me. Really? So we were at the tables right outside the back of the floor, and you gave me a sticker. I have it on my cooler. It's the Maine Cabin Masters sticker with the Fishman donuts on it. You know what
a small world.
Isn't that crazy as shit?
That's okay, and that's that's the year the New Year's run after we did John and Briar's camp, and Briar got me. Went to like one of the maintenance guys, got his hammer and had the band sign it and gave it to me.
Oh, that's awesome!
So I have a signed
really
hammer
cool.
by the band, and I remember running around the venue and like, "You gotta put that away." People they tried taking it from me, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I hit it like.
It's like a security risk.
Yeah, they played some amazing stuff, and there was like a glide too. It was a really good show.
So I have a couple theories, and this is true for a long time. Phish always would blow their load the night before the big night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the 20th anniversary show, I couldn't get it. That's one of the only tickets I couldn't get in Boston. But the night before I was in Albany, Jeff Holmes comes out.
Yeah.
Or like at 12:30, it's always like they would throw that good show in before the night, and they bring it that night too, but it's usually like a day or two before they would really bring it. I don't think I got so excited it was coming up.
Yeah, 12:29 and 12:30 at the Garden in the past 10 years are like monumental shows.
Yeah.
Top notch.
Yeah, top notch is right. And to meet you there, so then when I would see the show, and this is early formation, I'm like, I met that guy. And of course, my wife didn't believe me. I'm like, I got the sticker. So she went out and left this is amazing. They played a Cross-Eyed and Painless in that show in the first set. It's like a crazy first set. And then she left with a friend of hers and like went and got a steak dinner in a rickshaw. And then I met her back.
Each their own, right?
Yeah, I met her back at the hotel later.
That before. God love her.
But dude, so I knew I was right. So we do this sometimes with our guests. I'm like, shit, dude, that already happened. So
that gave me goosebumps. That's awesome. Well, I got more swag. I'm gonna get your address after. I'll send you new stickers and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt, I'd love that, man. Yeah. And I'm sure all our fans are like, all right, guys, move on.
Right.
Well,
I don't know what that show, but one thing is the T-shirt thing. I always had some good shirts. Like one of our family heirlooms is an '84 Augusta Dead show, and it barely. I mean, it's falling apart. It barely fits on me. My man boobs are sticking out. My I love handles, but I still wear it. But people, since the show's, people from all around the world have sent me shirts. And it's just
I was going to say, that's got to be like, people are like, oh shit, let me send him a shirt. Maybe he'll wear it on the show.
Oh, and the power of TV, a couple people, their husbands passed and sent me their collection. Like, these shirts are worth a lot of money. I would never, ever, it just means so much to have them and to wear.
Sure.
To wear them. Like, it's
my wife wouldn't agree.
Yeah. Quite an honor. Like, that skin tight doesn't fit you, but I'm going to wear it.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, and I think we've talked about this before on the podcast. It's like when you're driving down the road and you see somebody that's got a Steely on their car or, a Phish sticker, and like you drive by and you're like, hey, what's up, man? Like there's just that, you're instantly pulled into this kind of sub community. And I think seeing people in those different places, is pretty cool. We've had Jake Jolivet, who's the Fox Sports. I don't know if you're a sports guy, but like Fox Sports, they play Goose and Grateful Dead and Phish and all this different music, and that's just another like kind of a wink and a nod to all of us out there that we really truly are everywhere, and I think that that's a really cool thing that you've incorporated into this show. And I think it's like your authentic self, and reality TV, like reality TV, I think there's some stigmatism that goes with that. I think that there's definitely an authenticity that comes through in the episodes that I've seen, and that's really cool. How did you get how did the Fishman's camp come about?
So season 2, we went down at it was like in Maine Public Broadcasting. We went down and we were on one of their programs and we're talking, and we're down in the big city of Portland. Like it's just if you look back at this while, like that was a big thing to us. We're down there, and the producer comes in like, someone for Fishman, what? And I didn't know Brian, like, is on the line and wants to talk to you guys. I'm like, what? I'm like, and so she was listening to the show, and she's like, I just heard you guys talking. I heard they talked about us being fish heads, and she's like, I think I heard you laugh, and you guys talk, and I just knew you guys were good people, so she reached out to us. Gosh. She had just had gone through some stuff with her dad and Heritage Camp, and like, she's not. I've probably at least a half a dozen times people going through hospice with their parents and their carpenters or whatever. Like the power of TV is just crazy. I know TV gets a lot of crap and there's a lot of crap, but some people have just been like, we were in hospice and we bonded through your show, or it brought my parents, someone back to the end. I mean, we've had a couple of people like, we were sick from home. We didn't know if we were wanted to end it all, and we saw your show and like it gave us hope. Like, so it's some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah.
You got to think that how lucky we all are that we have this community, we have friends. There's some people in towns that don't have anyone and that all they have is TV, and
sure,
and it's sad, but it's also amazing to think that some of these stories of how it's helped people when it's gotten them through.
Yeah, it's a huge duality to think like, TV rots minds, but at the same time, what you're talking about is it actually like is bringing people like closer to humanity. I mean, your show definitely does that. I mean, there's so many jokes. Like, I just was watching the episode where you guys did the rope swing, and fucking Jedi is jumping off the rope swing doing like a front flip, and he's like, he saw an eagle fly by. I'm like, what's going on? Like, dude, you know what I mean? Like that. I'm just like, all right, now I know why I like this show.
I think why it works because we are real. I mean, I got we still do the work.
Yeah.
And we were all doing okay. We never really gave a crap what people thought, so we were ourselves.
Right.
Some people come on, they get so nervous, and they act funny. Like, you just got to be yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And it shows. Like, if you're just yourself and that comes through.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think I counted, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm a little bit of a nerd, but I think I counted 4 Phish song references in that episode with
there's been
the
a
Fishman
bunch
camp.
of them.
But I just loved seeing, how you guys incorporated that, and I mean that was a huge house.
Okay. Oh, and at the time, that was a big project for us. And I remember, Fishman sells the farm down there, and I remember pulling in and just being like, I mean, I chased them around for 20 years before that.
Yeah.
Hundreds of shows and spent a lot of money. I got in a little bit of trouble. I've been very lucky. And just to meet him was just like amazing, and they were just so down to earth. That's the thing, so a lot of doors have opened up. I met some really amazing people, but everyone's the same, and like they just want to be treated the same, And if you would have told Ryan in 1994 when I was at Great Woods, losing my mind, that you're gonna hang out with Fisher someday and do his camp, I'd be like, I bet everything, it's not gonna happen.
Right. That's a tough prediction,
Yeah, I would have bet my $2.30 an hour wait job on
my next Stafford loan trek that you used to go on tour with or something, right?
I'm selling stir fry this year. It's going to be different.
So I mean, at this point, now you've been on. You're in your 9th season, right?
Yeah, this will be our
So,
10th, yeah.
so you've got all of these cabins that you've already done. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that now reach out to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you decide which projects to do? Do you guys have multiple projects going on at the same time that you're filming, or kind of how does that break down when you guys are actually putting the metal to the meat?
So we currently have almost 4,000 applications. There's that many cabins in Maine.
God damn.
Jeez.
Right? I could have a 20 crews going if we could have the help. Getting help's hard. Maine, it's all about logistics. Since the show's gotten more popular, we don't have to travel as far. We can do more close to home. And the only people that really it affect gets mad are Mainers. And we still owe it to them. People from Australia don't care. We're 2 miles down. It's right down the road. It's just a cabin. So, and it's gotten easier. And like one good thing about this is that they've let us do some smaller community builds now and some new construction. We built houses before this and did a little bit of everything, but it's good for morale. Some of those old cabins are a lot, but we know that we're going to stay true to our brand and still do a majority of cabins that either family couldn't afford and they pooled the money together, or someone else would tear down and put up a mega mansion, and then we sprinkle in some community projects and stuff. So we're doing like probably 16 to 20 a year.
Wow.
And it doesn't really so when I see they give you when do you want it done? Is that a real thing? Because sometimes you could see for TV hey man, 12 weeks. And now I know myself.
You're watching the Lees.
I'm 12 weeks. I'm that's probably going to turn into another 3 months, just because you don't know what you're going to run into. Number one, construction wise. Number two, whatever the limited amount, when do they stick in that amount too? So I guess my question is, this is really a long-winded way to say it, is the weeks and how much budget they have. It just
That's
seems,
number one question.
Yeah, and that seems like service to me, because you guys are meeting them where they're at, which is as a teacher, that's what you got to do with kids. So somebody on a limited budget, you guys are doing a service to the community. I can't understand why somebody would get mad about that.
Well, first and foremost, why the show works is Chase. Because Chase, he recycles everything. He'll reuse stuff, and he knows when we get to that budget, he can say no. It took me a long time to be on board with Chase's way of building. So I was building houses with zip board. My yards, I don't have anything. It's perfect. I have a lawn. Chase has stuff everywhere. He recycles stuff. And as the show's gone on, the budgets have gotten bigger. So we do some higher end stuff, but we just love doing the ones $30,000 where maybe 5 brothers, they don't have $30,000, but they all scrape it together.
Right.
And just to see the gratefulness and stuff, in the bigger budgets, you spend more money, you have higher expectations.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the dollar amount you see, that's what the homeowners put in, because we buy Eastern White Pine direct from Hammond Lumber, by the truckloads. You can see what's an upgrade for what's taken out to do an upgrade on one cabin is an upgrade for another cabin. I mean, toilets from one cabin have gone into another cabin.
Sure.
Or
Right.
the old solar system we took out is gone into one without a solar system. You can watch stuff, and now that the show's gotten so much traction, people donate so much stuff. We get trade outs. My friends and their parents we did a remodel and leave lamp stuff. I saw my lamp over here, and even the local big box stores, we know that you give back, so they give us pennies on the dollar, and we buy scratch and dent stuff. And the first 4 or 5 years were hard, and now knock on wood, it's getting easier because everyone's behind what we're doing.
Sure.
And we're doing some bigger budget ones, but they know we're still going to give back to those families that can barely afford it, or the ones that when it should be torn down.
That's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
And then on timeline, we normally do 4, 4, and 4. We start in April. So it's about 12 weeks, but we're not building at that camp the whole time. We'll get to a point where we'll start the next one and leave from. But usually about what we say for time is usually about what we have into it. Ones that go through winter a little bit longer. You saw the dome one, the old taper.
Yeah.
That was way over time and budget. And we're honest about it. And we're not perfect. So, some of these shows are we always make budget, we always make time. No, shit happens. We're in Maine. Mother Nature's been
Dealing with all that. Yeah.
And that's that. I'll just harken back to one more episode. That fucking dome.
Oh,
I would have tore that thing down. Like, you guys are like in there, like trying to redo that thing. I was like, what is it, 1978?
It probably should have come down. But Bruce got me, he handed me that, like, and if you do this, this is for you. And he gave it to me then. That Jerry Garcia. And I went to Landover twice. And sometime I'll come on and talk about those, but like, went to 2 Landover shows. I was at UMaine Farmington. It was Columbus Indigenous Peoples the day before. I was like, oh, Dead are playing tomorrow. Like, let's get in the car. And we just all drove. So Landover's very special to me. Like, we went to Sears and bought the tickets then.
Oh, yeah. When you used to, we used to go to Sears too, and you wait in line. But I went to all those Cap Center shows you're talking about. I was at. Yeah.
But this was a St. Patrick's Day one I didn't go to, but I had Jerry's signature. And then after that, I don't know if they showed on the show, but he had a bunch of stubs and stuff. Like, he was a taper from Boston, so he has all kinds of backstage passes, but he had a symbol. I think it might have been for the Rainforest Benefit with the whole band and Vince and Bruce Hornsby.
Oh, wow.
He gave me that at the end because he wanted me to share it with people.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I'm going to put it up at the woodshed. I'm just trying. I got it this fall. I got to get the right case for it and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just, can you believe that? But he knows I'll share it with people. It's just amazing.
That is amazing. That's
and I'll honor it and put it up, and then it'll go to the next person, which is awesome.
Keep it alive, right? The music never stopped.
It's my time, and it'll be someone else's turn.
With that in mind, as you've gone through these, 16 projects a year and all that stuff, and especially Chase seems like he's a little bit of a hoarder, at least as far as like hanging on to stuff. Has there been? I'm sure there's been some like interesting shit you've come across as you've like cleared out some of these places. Anything stand out that you're like, that was really weird? Or
yeah, I remember in Bunganuk was season 2, right on the an inlet to the ocean. It was on stilts. Some dirty love letters to someone that was at the Maine State prison. Yeah. Those are fun. Nothing we can really read on TV.
Sure. That's a family show.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
Any lyrics in
Johnson. There? Oh yeah. One camp up in Oxford, up there on the Escar. The whole basement had wooden sporks. Cases of wooden sporks.
Like the spoon fork?
Yeah, sporks, wooden.
But made of wood.
And
they were they not rotted or anything?
No, they were good, but there was powder post beetle damage everywhere, and the guy sprayed it, so I think we burned them.
Probably caught some rainbow lights out of the flames there.
All kinds of animal stuff, animal waste. I mean, one camp we did in West Garden, my hometown. I mean, pounds and pounds of raccoon, like 50. I mean, truckload of raccoon poop.
Oh my God!
And that's the thing. You're like, I got to do this.
Well, if it's 20 years old and dry, it's really it's no different than an old acorn, really.
That's true. All right, I'll give you that one.
That's crazy. Well, so today Ryan is going to be pulling the stub for the show. So we're really excited about that. If you're new to Stub Me Down, the premise of the show is that Skinny and I have been to a lot of concerts together over the years, and we pull ticket stubs from those concerts at random and use those as a jumping off point to talk about our friendship, the music, the funny things that happen along the way, the community, all that stuff. So Ryan from Maine Cabin Masters is going to be pulling the ticket stub today and talking about a show that he was at. So with that, Ryan, are you ready to stub me and Skinny down today, man?
I am so ready.
Right on. All right, tell us what you got.
We're going to go to 10/26/10 the Verizon Wireless Center Fall Tour 2010 Phish.
Oh, okay.
2010. So this is year 2 of the 3.0 era for those of you that keep track of such things. This is and correct me if I'm wrong, man, this is the only time Phish has played in this room. Is that correct? I couldn't, unless they renamed it, I couldn't find any other.
No, it opened up in 2001. I was doing a little research myself. I don't
so you did my job?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were at UNH back in the day. I mean, to me, this was a newer arena. I guess arena football played there and some hockey.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, a small venue. And
yeah.
It was, so this is what I call a sleeper show. You know, we'd gone to some other shows on that run, and it was like an old school fall tour. You know, you don't see that anymore. In New England, it was awesome. And we were coming off Augusta, and everyone was just like, this is great. And I think Providence. And it was a midweek, and I remember this is one of those last minute ones. And my two neighbors that live now next to me now picked up our friend Jackie O and went last minute. And like we might have known a couple of people there, but it was an older crowd, and like it was just a cool time. It was just amazing.
Yeah,
and they brought it from the beginning.
This was the end of that fall tour. It was a 15-show fall tour. They wrapped up in Atlantic City. That's when they did the Little Feat Waiting for Columbus album Halloween cover.
I missed that too. I missed this whole tour.
And this was kind of like, I mean, not like a total one-off because they were up in the New England area, but you're right. It was a midweek show, a little bit of kind of like a sleeper, you know, that one that you skip before the big run, you know, and with it being kind of a smaller room, that's going to make it, you know, maybe a little bit more intimate, and the band is going to certainly, I think, pick up on that. And I definitely think they did in this show. I mean, we'll get into the set in just a sec, but like I've heard this show before because of a couple of these nuggets here. But I mean, the number of songs that they played in the show was, I mean, it was incredible. And it just was like, it just kept going and going and going. I mean, the first set was like, holy shit. Like, I thought it was going to end after one song, and then they played like another 4 songs. And this is out of 48 shows in 2010. Phish played 52 in 09. So they're right in this, you know, 100 shows back after coming back after the breakup. And I think they really started to hit their stride in this fall 2010 run. I mean, summer was good, but I really feel like they started to develop that 3.0 sound that we kind of know now. I think that really started to take hold here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first set. Skinny, you want me to do the first? You can do the second? Is that good? Cool?
I mean, you were like,
fight over this one.
Yeah, we do, I guess, because he was like fucking talking, and then, all right, Meg.
All right, go ahead. No, what else you want to say?
No. Go ahead.
Do you want to do the first set?
No, I don't. I want you to do it. Is this how it's like?
Is this what it's like on the
site?
Oh yeah, they're old buddies, married couple, right?
Oh yeah, that's essentially what we've
pretty
got
much
here.
the show, Ryan.
Oh boy! All right, so in New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire, on October 26, 2010, Phish opens with "After Midnight," "The Sloth," "Alumni Blues," "Into a Letter from Jimmy Page," back into "Alumni Blues," "Mellow Mood," "Access Me," "Llama," "All of These Dreams," "The Curtain With," into "Son of a Mule," into "Song I Heard the Ocean Sing," "It's Ice," into a set ending "Walls of the Cave." So that's a lot of fucking music right off the bat. And I think like
the versions aren't short.
Just from a statistical perspective, they open with "After Midnight," which they hadn't played since Big Cypress.
Yeah, long time. And why? You know, like,
right, something's right. I mean, so they come out with that. You know? At that point, you have to be like, all right, it's on right from the opening notes.
You knew, you know, you go to so many shows, and I remember and I always loved the music in the scene. But you go to say you got to sometimes go to 10 shows, you just see that one that just like, oh, that's why I do it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just know when they come out. Maybe Trey's talking a little bit, or, you know, Fishman's got that smile on his face, and just that "After Midnight," and then just right into "The Sloth," like it was, and then Alumni. I mean, come on, "Alumni Blues," "Letter Jimmy Page." It's like some of those songs, I mean, I only seen a couple times in like a lot of shows in the 90s, and you know, like.
That's what everybody's complaining about on the interwebs now. It's like, play this, play that. And
right.
It's funny to hear you say, like, shit, like, you know, I've only seen this stuff a couple times. As a matter of fact, when I met you, which we didn't know we've met each other, they played Alumni to open, Letter to Jimmy Page, Alumni, and, like, that is a fucking rarity to see, especially right out of the box. You know what I mean? Now, this isn't right out of the box because it's after midnight, but I don't even know, what's the vibe in there right away. I mean, I'll just say through the Alumni blues.
Well, you know what
it's
like this. Everyone knows this goes into a reggae show, you know.
Yeah.
But it just had that like happy, like there was none of that nasty like Trey guitar. It was more of this like happy. We're gonna just have fun and we'll go down this road by, you know, like. But just it didn't stop, you know, like almost like island fun. You know, but they didn't come out and hit you in the face with a baseball bat and then lay right off. But it was just like the foot was on the gas pedal, and it was just a good, fun vibe.
Yeah,
there's a cool dance party.
Yeah,
and I mean, right off the bat, I mean, aside from the Sloth, After Midnight, Alumni, Jimmy Page, and then the Mellow Mood, Access Me, like you're talking about songs that they, like, holy shit, like they're playing a set that is super, super rare. And I know Skinny wants to talk about the Mellow Mood, but this was the 7th time they've played it, and they've only played it 10 times. So, I mean, that coming in after the Alumni and then Access Me, this was the 3rd time they played it. So, I mean, you've got like some statistical rarities. So people in the crowd are like, I'm sure, wow, we're already in for something, and we're only, you know, 4 songs in to the first set.
But we've all been 4 songs in, and then it kind of just peters off too. So you never know.
Sure, right. That's a good point, you know? Too.
You never know.
That's the thing about this show. It just once somebody get that one, it just doesn't let up.
It does, and then it is like so. Then it's the Mellow Mood, which like right now should be all the rage. I mean, I know it's coming back. I went and saw the Marley movie when it opened last week, and that's the Wailing Wailers from, you know, the Lee Scratch Perry days when Peter and Bunny and Bob got discovered basically with Simmer Down and all that. Like we saw that at Merriweather, and I think I've only seen it once. Like you're saying, like this is like
twice, Skinny.
Twice?
It Festival, and then
Festival.
Merriweather was June 27th, 2010.
Right, and he reminded me of that, and I fucking already forgot. But anyway.
Might have been. I'm not a stats guy. I don't remember where I've been. But
so that's why you're my, like, person. Because I don't remember shit. That's why we have this show, because he just runs through it. He's like, no, we saw that actually 2 years ago in, you know, Spain. So, like, and then the Access Me, like that's what you were talking about. Like it's definitely known as a reggae vibe show. I mean, there's no doubt about it, and we'll get to that later. But like, Mellow Mood isn't really played anymore. Access Me, Josh, what's the stat on Access Me? It hasn't been played in 4.0. You know?
Yeah, last time Access Me was played was August 31st, 2019 at Dick's. So that's at a 181 show gap.
What's Mellow Mood at?
Mellow Mood was the year before Dick's, September 2nd, 2018. I didn't write down how many shows that is, but it's more than 181.
So it's like 200.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, probably 250.
I wouldn't be surprised if they whipped that out in Mexico or something else. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Like already, then after the Access Me, they're like, okay, time to pick up the pace. And then Llama, and then they slow it down. So I could see where you're saying, Ryan, like, this whole set might peter out, but then it doesn't, because then one of my favorite all-time Phish tunes, which I don't know if I've ever talked about this, is The Curtain With. Like, I love this tune. It's just so good.
Well, and for me, I'm looking at the set, and it's like, you know, say what you will about Access Me. It's, you know, it's a Mike tune, you know.
I normally wouldn't like it. I'd probably be like, this is a set killer.
But here
it works. Like, give them a break. These boys are bringing it. You know?
Sure. So it's Access Me, Llama, all of these dreams. You know, this was the 9th time played. They had debuted this at the beginning of 2.0. Then the curtain is super, super tight. And, you know, the curtain ended the first, you know, whatever, in 2004, it ended Coventry and they played it in the wrong key. So hearing them play this with the crispness that they brought in this version, then you get The Scent of a Mule, then Song I Heard. So like there's a couple of things. It feels like some weird pieces that they've put together in this set. The Scent of a Mule into Song I Heard the Ocean Sing, then It's Ice, then Walls of the Cave. Like an interesting 4-song sandwich there that, you know, Song I Heard and Walls of the Cave kind of flow together, and you could probably even do a Mule and It's Ice, but kind of mixing all four of those, it really adds to kind of this weird, unique vibe that they began with, right, with that After Midnight and the, you know, Sloth alumni.
Yeah, it's just like these flowy songs that, you know, what it wasn't necessarily a Trey heavy show or a Mike heavy, or it's just the songs, they all just groove. It's like just a groovy show, kind of, you know. It's
a Phish heavy set.
To say that, but
yeah, it's like it's Phish. Like for you to be able to describe that, you can describe that to me and Josh, but like to describe that to somebody that like doesn't really, they listen to music.
A normie.
and a lot of those songs are old songs, like, you know, 1.0 song, like remind, like there's a lot of old stuff in there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, it was something else. The Walls of the Cave, you know, that's they ended that. I mean, they could have ended that at Curtain, you know, that set, and people would have been happy. You would have got your money's worth the first set.
Yeah, and you probably could have extended out some stuff in set 2, but they did. That's the weird part to me is we've talked about this on other shows, Ryan, is like sometimes Phish, you'll catch a show like you were saying where you're like, Peter's out, but then maybe the second set was good, or the first set was really strong, and then I didn't like their choices. Like, you know, it's like a library of like, if you've seen enough shows, you're like, I like it when they do this, or I don't like it when they do this. And we've seen it where we've been to shows where they just like stack, like all these songs. And they're like 7-8 minutes, let's say, you know, average. And I think that's even high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then this kind of does that, but all the way, everything that's played is like very well played.
Tight, yes.
You know,
yeah,
even though
tight.
It's super tight. Like, I was surprised how well the Curtain With sounded. I was like thinking, oh, that's a song they're definitely going to fuck up. I mean, this is 2010. You know, they've only been around, you know, back for a while. Even those transitions from Alumni Blues to Letter to Jimmy Page and then back, you know, that's kind of not, that ain't swimming freestyle.
No. All right.
You know what I mean? Like, so this is just another interesting thing. And thank you, gratitude for bringing this show to our attention, because a lot of times we see that. It's just like stack. And that happened a lot late in 3.0. You know?
Well, I think you also, if you look at some of the song times, like the Curtain With is the longest jam of the whole show. 14 minutes, you know, so you're not talking about a super jammy show, but they definitely pack in some jams into what they play. I mean, the Song I Heard the Ocean Sing was still relatively new in this time period. That debuted in 2004 in Brooklyn, and then we saw like the second version they played was at SPAC that year, Skinny. So this is only the 6th time they've even ever played it, but they pack a nice little jam into that. It's Ice is obviously, you know, an old 1.0 staple, but Walls of the Cave, again, something new here. But this was only the 2nd time they had played it since they came back in 2009 at Hampton, and they filled up almost 13 minutes there. And again, it had that nice, clean, compact jam, not super long, but it was definitely a great capper to the rest of the first set here. And like it, you know, like I said, it kind of matched with that Song I Heard. and just really put a exclamation point on a very, very good and special first set. Let me review that first set real quick. So they open up 10/26/10 in Manchester, New Hampshire with After Midnight, The Sloth, Alumni Blues into Letter to Jimmy Page, back into Alumni, Mellow Mood, Access Me, Llama, All of These Dreams, The Curtain Width into Son of a Mule, into Song I Heard the Ocean Sing, It's Ice into a set closing, Walls of the Cave. So you got a lot of music for that first set. I mean, I bet you at like, man, that was one that you were glad you pulled the trigger on last minute.
It was. You know, and this was old school South. I mean, maybe like noontime that day, like, let's go. We're in the car at 4, leaving Central Maine. I think we had a beer after the show and I was back home, you know, like, it's kind of like I did the island tour every day, like, went down the first night, drove back. I mean, back then I couldn't afford a hotel. And like, I'm going back. So, you know, you wake up the next day, you have that energy, drive back. You know, now
we did that. We did that to Philly from Baltimore.
That would kill us, wouldn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Nowadays, I'd be like, dude, who didn't get the fucking hotel room? I think I'd be so fucking mad. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Who said, why are we driving home?
I got a quick question. How old were you when you actually got your own hotel rooms?
Oof.
And didn't like... For me, it was probably 4.0 when I finally was like, okay.
When I got married.
Yeah.
Right?
When it was my wife being like, I don't want to fucking share a hotel room with your idiot friends.
I think it was, even 2.0. Like, we went up to SPAC for those shows in 04. We got a hotel room, like, by Lake George. Like, we would have, like, a bunch of people, though. It'd, like, be like, you know, when you're going to a hotel room, you're not kissing your girlfriend that weekend. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because everybody's in, like, my mom comes out of the bathroom, like, what are you guys doing? Like, you know, there's 18 people in there. So, you know, I think probably 2.0, 3.0, I think. But, you know, late. I mean, I was in my 30s.
Yeah. I think late 30s. I remember, like, 10 people at Jones Beach, the seedy little, you know, hotel room.
Shit.
We always had Stat Lake Cordwood.
Oh, I mean, we drove from Camden in the summer of 2000 when Phish was playing at Camden for the 3rd and 4th of July. Each night we drove to the Jersey Shore and stayed at a college share that I was a part of. And hi, Ashley.
Hi.
Hi, Ashley.
How are you?
Good. Ryan's
Nice
dog freaking out.
Oh, no, that's all right. Gus, right?
No. Gus is that's my new dog, Trigger.
Oh, hey, Trigger.
You know Gus's original name is August West.
Oh,
all right, great.
Love it.
That's awesome.
It's good to see you, Ashley.
Nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
you guys too.
Yeah.
We'll have to get her on for a show sometime.
Sleep a show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
we're
is.
talking about it. Yo, it's a great one.
Love you.
Okay.
We're leaving that in.
Yeah. That's
You know what's funny with Ashley and I? She goes to some shows, but she's more happy just for me to go with my guy. Like, it's my time to go with a couple of my buddies. And
Right.
like, people don't like SPAC. I love if they do a SPAC show. Like, oh god, I'm in trouble. Like, you say home a lot.
I thought we were talking about the dead.
No, Phish.
Phish.
Bye.
She sounds just like, man, Ashley sounds just like my wife.
She's like one of the old deadheads. Okay.
I love the Phish. I love the
Phish.
Okay. The Phish from Vermont. That's amazing.
Oh, that interruption. Back to the music.
But yeah, we stayed in a Jersey Shore house. You know, me from Maryland, like, dude, staying with these dudes
there
that
was
stayed
like
up till 5 in the morning.
15 dudes that I went to college with. Like, it was like people just fell where they landed, you know? And
I can only drink Schaefer until, you know. Like that.
Isn't that fun, though? But you've done those, like, you guys seen shows all your life. I got friends I've been seeing shows still, like, so young, you know? And like, and it's fun. Sometimes you go back to the buddies, you act a little younger again, but you have it more together.
you try to, and then
You
you
might have
wake
your
up the
own
next morning, you're like, that was a bad fucking idea.
Oh, that's funny. All right, well, let me, I guess, run into the second set here because there's plenty to talk about here at J-Dub and Ryan. So Set 2 from Manchester, New Hampshire on 10/26/2010. Possum into Light, into Mike Song, into Simple, into Makasupa Policeman, into Night Nurse, into Makasupa Policeman again, and then into The Wedge, then Ghost into the Magno Song, into Weekapaw Groove, into Llama Reprise, which that's just so weird when I saw that come across.
Right.
And then the encore, Show of Life. So, I mean, a Possum to open up a second set, I guess I've seen, but this, like what to your point, Ryan, earlier, I don't remember really, like, I know I have, but like that's what you're like, holy shit, now this, you know what I mean?
And then I just had this thought when we were talking about the first set. I mean, they played Possum a lot after this. They played Possum.
It's one of their most played songs. Yeah, it's like Behind You,
mean,
Enjoy Myself, and like Character Zero and Chalk Dust, I think, and maybe Harry Hood. It's like a top five.
It's one of those, every time you hear it, it's just that energy. It's just like, it gets you to that happy place, you know, even if you heard it 100 times.
This is the song I'm most likely to speed to.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I hope he's not saying do speed. That's not
No. Like drive fast.
70s.
Yeah, drive fast in a car.
Right. I was like,
most
are we a
amazing
trucker?
thing about this, and like I said, if you ask people about my Ryan and concerts, I stub back and no commas. No commas in my set. I mean, this is that's another thing. I want no commas. I mean, I've known to scream that sometimes from the back.
Oh my God, I love that. No
That's
commas.
pretty funny. No
That's
commas.
I'm writing that down because I keep this set.
Let's make a no comma shirt.
I'm a set keeper. The no commas. I love it.
Commas.
Hold on, I gotta piss. You guys keep talking.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, so the Possum is a great kick-off here. And then, now let me ask you, Ryan, because Light is one of those, it's a new, well, not anymore, but newer. 3.0, it's new, right? This was, they played it a lot at the beginning of 3.0. This was the 23rd time. So, I mean, they were playing it like one every 4 or 5 shows. But Light is one of those tunes I feel like these days where people are like, I don't really like it, but wait till the jam,
it grew on me.
It's definitely grown on me.
Yep.
And I don't think I've ever seen a bad one because they this has one, doesn't matter what the circumstances are, they're going to blow up this jam. And it's a great, what, the nerds refer to as a jam vehicle, and that regardless of where it lands in the set, it's gonna reap some rewards. And then I kind of look at this as like really the first foray into Phish's dad rock phase.
Yeah, and it can set the tone too. If it definitely sometimes they play it, but I mean it is a jam vehicle, and
100%.
All right, but can we all say this about that song? Because everybody says it's a jam vehicle. Can people just admit that they don't really like it until it becomes that?
Here's what I was talking about, Ryan. Perfectly on cue right here.
So I was just saying Light, and you know what song to me is like Light Beyond a Dream was kind of like my Light, and now ending some second sets now I really like it, but at first it was kind of like, I don't know if I still like it, but it always gets me at the end.
Sure.
Kind of like one of those songs.
Yeah, it's like a perfect, I mean, when you finish tying the bow on the last Christmas gift, right? Like you're like, good. Okay, well, we're done with that. And then on to the next.
Well, I like the little reggae feel that Life Beyond has. I mean, that can get a little...
Oh, no, I like it a lot, but it took me a while. I wasn't sure. And Light, they were doing all those science songs, like Light, Mercury, like...
Right.
They're all kind of bunched together. It's like, are they taking, getting next credit?
I guess they were
funny.
In the kitchen or something at the barn, and they were doing science experiments for fun.
But I mean, you see so many second sets over with Possum, so I mean, that's two just, they just brought those 2 songs, and a lot of this show, they could take a couple songs here, a couple songs there, and they just gave us extra that night, and they just gave it really well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, the whole thing. That's like I thought maybe I wouldn't like the first set I liked, but maybe something would happen. That's what I thought, because it's like a 3.0 show, like, and it's early, so I'm thinking, well, they're not gonna really bring it, or something will happen, or I'll notice like they didn't. There was a transition. Like I'm always looking to see if like I'm very critical, so I'm like, and they didn't disappoint.
Well, Ryan, you're talking about them, bringing a little extra. I think the next segment of the show, the Mike Simple Makasupa. I mean, talk about like bringing extra, and then the night nurse in there. So that's why I know this show is because of the Makasupa night nurse Makasupa, and Gregory Isaacs had just died the day before, and so it was a tribute to him, but the transition from the Makasupa into that was unbelievable. Like just so cool. And I can't imagine like standing there as it goes into this, and then you realize like, holy shit, they're playing Night Nurse and they kill it. And I just love that guitar riff, and coming out of the Mike Simple, like it wasn't like it was, like it was a great, like meaty part of the show here. And in this Mike's Groove, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs that they put, in the Mike's Groove. And, but for me, that Makasupa Night Nurse was just mind blowing.
And, Makasupa is like one of those songs they're always having fun. And a lot of times that verse, Trey will giggle or it won't be perfect, but just everything about this show, was just perfect, and like an alumni I threw in the Goddard College, and it was just seamless,
that's right.
They're always doing these jokes and stuff, but it's so smooth. What did he say? He's like, woke up this morning with a policeman at my door. All I could do was shrug, go back to my bedroom, and smoke another nut. And it was just, it was like it was always meant to be there. A lot of times he's changing it every time, but
sure,
everything clicked that night. It's.
Well,
and I know that we know the feeling, and it's like when it all comes together, and you get at this point of the set, you've gotten some classic, you've gotten some new, you've gotten a couple of decent jams, and then you get like this special, very special debut / tribute. And it also, I think it pairs well with the mellow mood from the first set and that reggae vibe that they kind of perpetuated and wove throughout some of the other segments of the jam that they were, the jams that they were playing. The Wedge, I feel like the Wedge was the first song I ever saw live, and I feel like that's got kind of a, a little bit of that, reggae vibe, reggae-ish vibe.
It's the theme, man. It's like the ocean, it's the salt. It's the salt that's within our tears.
Yeah.
Like that, that Jamaican vibe is very like that. You know what I mean? It's very natural. It's very like, it's very deep into, I guess, the planet. That's why everybody connects with like, oh my God, I love Jamaica so much. I'm like, because they got a vibe that you can't even fucking describe. You know what I mean? Like they got something that everybody wants to be a part of. It's just who they are as a people. That's what I caught from that show, this show in particular. I catch a lot of that. Island, just like this place. You know what I mean? And whether or not it's the theme, I don't know.
It's just that groovy just jam. It's not like those heavy, dirty, nasty trade.
Yeah, dark evil shit. Like none of that.
I love more than anything, but
yeah, everybody does.
Oh yeah.
But every style has its place. Every show style has its place, right?
That was a great quote, actually. That's not every style.
What did he say?
Every style has its place.
Yeah, every style has its place.
You look back and you get the Wedge, it's Ice and Lima. Like Timmy knows that song is like, I was just so young when I heard those back in the day. It just brings you to that place. It's like,
sure, it's like a time machine.
That nerve, back in college a long time ago, and this show had hints of that, and it had new stuff, and the reggae. It was just a really special show.
The Ghost too. It's like now they're playing. this Ghost, like I actually like. It kind of reminds me of that old school feel with more of the hi-hat, you know, and like the intro by Fishman is a little bit more pronounced than it is nowadays. Yeah. You just all of a sudden nowadays you just hear it. It's Ghost. But back then, and
a little more patient. Yeah, a little more patient on the build-in.
Yeah, it takes like I vote for more Ghost build-ins. Like I'd rather have like 5 minutes of just that, like just to get into it. But it has that, and that's just even like, what a placement. Oh yeah, we're also now we're gonna fucking do Ghosts. So this might be like whether you're a stats guy or like this is your first show or your 100th show. Like this is. To me, this is like, I didn't realize at the time when I started listening, like how power-packed, I guess, this show was. It's like, it's almost like a cartoon. It's kind of fucking crazy.
Like, how many times you got a Mike's Weekend Pod with a simple thrown in? That was awesome. You got a simple in there.
Yeah, we used to argue about that shit.
You're right, and they threw in no Maca Super, Wedge, Ghost, Mango, like.
Yeah, I mean, a Ghost in between a Wedge and Mangoes, like, that's... Like...
And it's a Tuesday night in October in New England. That's what... You know, when everyone just, like, they've been playing and everyone's, like you said, was thinking about the end in Atlantic City.
Right.
You just
they bypass it, like, or they're like, hey, I got to go to work. You know, it's so many different factors why you would miss a show like this. But if you get a chance and you hit it, man, what a connect. You know what I mean?
I would love to know what they're thinking when they do something like this. Like, how did that all come together? It's just so random. Like, you know, you see that like the Phish nerds go into the numbers and stuff, and a lot of it makes sense. But I mean, it's just it would be so amazing. Like, why they pick each song tonight? And like,
did you, when you did the Fishman Camp, did you, like, I know they weren't really on screen except for like a couple. Did you have like an opportunity to like bullshit with them, like off camera?
So, you know, we became friends. Like, we went out and watched some Patriots games there. That was the other one. And one quick story, we were talking. Someone was brought up like one of the, like, his favorites, like what tell us. Oh, it's a Chalk Dust. You tell us about Chalk Dust at Camden, okay? And he knew Questlove was in the crowd, okay? And I think we were joking how Canada's just such a shithole. But they always play one. Canada's the one place where I see you can have an easy up frame, but you can't have the thing on it, or you see people. There's this 40-yard dumpster. People walk up and throw the trash next to the dumpster. I'm like, oh, get me over that bridge to Philly. You know?
Where it's nicer.
Go to the market, or whatever the hell that is. So he was talking about when Questlove was in the audience and how much respect he had for Questlove, and that Chalk Dust from Canada is just legendary. Like, and Phish, he just loves music, and he's just a kid, a normal guy. Like, and you know, it's like, I don't want to talk to Ashley. He's not.
Dude. Is that? No, she's playing Grateful Dead.
She's playing Grateful Dead. She sees my hat.
If it was a 91 Jack Straw, I might have like switched stations. But yeah, and just him talking about how, like, and you look back and that Chalk Dust is legendary. You know?
Oh yeah, 7:30:03.
We asked him why it was so, and because Questlove was there, and his respect for Questlove.
Wow,
awesome.
That's so cool.
That is really awesome because I think, what did we do? Did we went to It right after that show, Josh?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I mean, we could have talked about that. Yeah, so much we could have talked about.
Yeah.
Well.
Next time.
Next time. We'll have you back.
Again.
We'll do it again. You might have to do. might have to do a Grateful Dead show though, just to appease your wife.
It was so hard to pick a show, guys. But my mind went to a couple shows instantly that really stood out. This one, and that 2001 in Deer Creek, the Russell Crowe show with the slow chop. And then there's all those, but this one, it kept going back to this show.
Well, you picked a good one, because the Weekapog, it gets back into and has several teases, as they do.
Yeah, and so tease a bunch, right?
And then has a llama reprise. Like, Josh, it's pretty crazy ending.
Yeah, the Weekapog and the quotes that they were pulling in, at first I was like, what is he doing? And then That's
Right.
something that they've done on a number of occasions with a number of different songs when they, basically have a set list medley in like one of the last jams. But I mean, nobody's expecting them to like legit play almost 3 more minutes of Llama at the end of this, right? Weekapog is going to send everybody home.
Right. And happy, very happy.
Sure,
Like,
right.
Yeah,
So-
no problems.
Like top-notch show.
Right,
So
I
then
can't
you-
wait to have a Sammy Smith in the lot. Like, I'm
So
good.
get that sprinkled on top, and it's it makes up for the show of life encore.
I think I actually love that show of life, but I was just in that mood.
Yeah, sure.
You know what? This is another one of those 3.0 dad rock songs, but I think that there's a little bit of us who's like, there is some truth to the words that Trey is singing when you examine yourself in the show of life. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, and think about
Very
it.
deep.
Say I don't exercise that much. When you used to exercise or someone's running a marathon, you got to cool down. Like they needed to cool down. Like
They still had to play something.
yeah,
Right.
I mean, one of my biggest things. I mean, like 95, 96. Taking a lot of things, and then ending the show a cappella, and you were just like ready to go to the moon. I mean, you remember that? Like that was like, I'm like, that was oh god, you chased that last song all night, but they earned it. They earned it. Like I've seen a lot of shows, and this one, it was just last minute fall tour. The weather, the weather was beautiful. Just foliage was great, and everyone was just in a good mood. It was very, very special show.
Yeah, that's like when you were in the Northeast and even like, Maryland, Jersey, like pretty much there, like even, so far as the Hampton run, in October, late October, it's like the weather can be peak, like 65 during the day. It's like, what a great atmosphere for a show. I mean, was it nice that day? Do you remember?
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
We have to talk about the weather. I think it's fucking
especially in
standard
the-
and practices of podcasts.
Well, I think it's also important because, like, hanging out outside is like 50% of going to a show.
I was just gonna say, I love the music, and if I'm gonna like look back at favorite shows, but experience is a lot of it to me. Just being with friends, like I said, and just not planning to go in last minute. Like a sleeper show, like and then just have them just bring it. Like some people are just so critical, and like it's work. We all have bad days at work. Give them a break. And they earned it. But to go to something like this, or just everything just came together. And it's just like in sports, that one game when someone, baseball player was scoring $4,000. It's a special time and everything works for it.
Yeah.
To be there was just awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome because, really, that's what it's all about. And you could slay it, I don't know, 1,000 different ways, but like just saying, like, when things do come together and a show like this comes together and you're in its presence, like, it's just something that you'll never forget. So
I look at the show. They could have played this show and so maybe dialed it a little bit and taken a couple songs out. It would have been a great show. It would have been, but just everything that came together to be one of the top 10, 20 that I remember.
yeah, that's what matters. Like, it's not everybody else's stats. It's what you think.
Right.
And what's funny is I get older, it's not necessarily what I was on to help me get to that point, because sometimes when you're young, you're on something and you have that moment, you listen to it and say, it was good, but maybe I had some help. But this was just one of those shows that was just
Stands up.
Yeah.
No
Stands
help.
up when you're clarity.
Also, no commas, and also no help show.
yes.
Those are the two T-shirts
amazing.
that you
Probably
basically
something.
Getting some great T-shirts out of this conversation.
Yeah, no commas, no help show.
Oh my God.
All right, well, let me read down that second set again. So, Manchester, New Hampshire, from the Verizon Wireless Arena on 10/26/2010. Possum into Light, into Mike's Song, into Simple, into Makasupa Policeman, into Night Nurse, into Makasupa, into The Wedge, Ghost, into the Mango Song, into Weekapog Groove, into Llama Reprise, Still Crazy. And then encores, with a show of life. J-Dub.
Ryan, dude, that was fucking fun as shit, man. I love talking about this show with you. We are super grateful for your time and the opportunity to meet you and hang out and chat some music. And very cool what you're doing with Maine Cabin Masters. You've definitely created a fan out of me. I'm not usually like an HGTV, home repair. We used to watch the Treehouse show, Treehouse Masters. Yeah. And Christian was like, oh yeah, check out this show. And I just totally dig it, and what you guys are doing and the craftsmanship and how you bring new life back into these cabins and really have an investment in the future of Maine by investing in the past. And I think that that's a really cool thing that you do. And the shout outs kind of wink and nod with your shirts, I think is just a super cool touch.
Love it.
And
Love it.
Just super grateful for your time today, bro. Seriously.
Hey, go ahead. Well, wait a minute, Ryan, before you say that. So my wife wants to know where we could get one of those fucking cabins. And then second,
you have a couple of like Airbnbs, I think that yeah.
We'll trade information after this.
Yeah, we will.
We're going to talk shows in person, drinks and beers. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
yes.
Without a doubt. Without
100%.
a doubt.
Thank you guys for doing what you're doing too, though. It's all about the music.
Yeah.
The highs of my life, the lows of my life, all the crazy shit I've been through, and this crazy TV show world. The music is such a part of it, and the Grateful Dead got so much. They're not a drug band anymore. They're more popular than ever, and it's amazing. These old people that watch our show that appreciate the music now, and that those connotations aren't, preconceived, stigma is not there anymore, and it's amazing that jam music and the music we love is just so popular, and to be able to help promote that is really an honor. And I never in a million years thought I would be able to do that. So thank you guys.
Yeah, and thank you for being on, man. I mean, I thought about this a while ago, and like the fact that we crossed paths years ago, man, like you said, it's just like complete chills down my spine just about how you meet somebody and they're doing this thing, and then a couple years later we did this, and then now we're all together.
Serendipitous. It was meant to be.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
sure.
Let's meet on some hot, dusty lot this summer.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we're going to
Sounds
Monty Green.
perfect.
Are you going to the festival? I mean, I know it's a busy time for you.
I'm kind of we have a hard time planning now, so it's usually last minute stuff. So,
well, listen, if you need if you need a floor like back in the day, we got you, man.
Perfect,
Email me.
All right, guys.
Right on.
Later.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man. Love you.
That was a lot of fun. What a great guy. We're super appreciative from Ryan from Maine Cabin Masters joining us here on Stub Me Down today. Skinny, quick shout out to our partners out there, Scott Mitchell over at Fan Designs. Check out his stuff. He's got a lot of great merch. The Lot by Primal Soup, they're out there. They're on hiatus, but all those shops are still available, so check them out as you get ready for spring.
Of course, I'm
summer.
glad that you keep doing that. Like, we got to...
Hey, it costs us nothing to shout out, those guys. They're awesome. And,
good
whether,
peeps.
100% good people. And they make great stuff. And, shop the lot. We're huge proponents of that stuff. Skinny, if you want to check us out on the socials, we're out there. We're on Twitter and all the others. Stub_me_down Instagram too. Hit us up. Let us know how we're doing or not. You can also find us now on YouTube. Check out Stub Me Down on YouTube. The Karina Reichman episode is up there, and we'll be posting this one as well. So check us out, and you can share the visuals if that's more your speed.
It's so funny. It's like, dude, a 53-year-old man telling people what to do. It's like, get on my lawn.
Check us out on YouTube. Right on,
Threads,
Skinny.
Reddit.
Yeah, right. Reddit, Threads, Blue Sky, whatever the fuck. Wherever the society ends up landing, Stub Me Down will be there.
We'll have our microphones.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thank you so much for checking us out here. Episode 5 of Season 5 of Stub Me Down. Always appreciative of our listeners. Skinny, great job as always. Good work being persistent and patient as well. Getting Ryan on, that was cool to talk to him, and what a chill dude. So he's a community guy. Like, I just knew it right away.
I told you, huge fan. I was a huge fan, and now that I met him, I'm like, probably going to turn into a fucking HGTV stalker. Well, it's Magnolia Network, whatever the fuck it is.
It's on Hulu. If you have not checked out Maine Cabin Masters, go ahead and check that out. The episode with Fishman is, let me just pull it up, is Season 2, Episode 15, The Family Cabin Fit for a King. So you can check that out and see see John and his, unfortunately now ex-wife Briar, as their amazingly beautiful cabin, or camp, I should say, gets fixed up in Maine. So very cool to see how many of the Phish song title references you can pick up from Ryan and that other dude, Jedi, that are on the show. So very cool to have the opportunity to talk to him. And as always, Skinny, I love talking with you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Love talking to you. That was a great time, man. And I'll see you next episode.
Right on. All right. Hey, thanks again for checking us out here on Stub Me Down. And we will see you the next time you need to get out of your shitty seats and down to the path. Later, Skin.
Later, man. Love it.